May chance pa na maglaban ng Triss, mano.
Dito pa data yung vegan diet ni
Welcome to another offline video, this time for a high-stakes semi-final match. On the left we have Onyximus playing Blackbeard, the strongest addition from the recent Battle of Legends Volume 3 set, who has powerful effects and an economy minigame. On the right we have Drew playing Yennefer, a ranged fighter from the Witcher Realms Fall set, who can boost every attack and has a lot of discard effects. They're playing on Baskerville Manor, which lets Yennefer maneuver in and attack first action. She attacks with a portal to anywhere into a fearsome and calculating, which is one of Blackbeard's strongest effects. I believe Yennefer does pay to cancel the effect. She does gain an action and attacks again, this time with an echoing blast into another fearsome and calculating. This one does activate and lets Blackbeard take a look into Yennefer's hand and discard a Marigold's Hailstorm. Yennefer boosts with the paralyzing fetters, allowing her to deal 2 damage to Blackbeard and take back a doubloon. The matchup seems pretty rough for Blackbeard since Yennefer has a really easy time getting doubloons. Snowballing is when a small advantage grows larger and larger over time, like a snowball rolling downhill. Both Blackbeard and Yennefer are incredibly snowbally, and are both incredibly oppressive when they're in a winning position and very weak when they're losing. Blackbeard attacks with no pray no pay into a telepathy. Blackbeard ends up not discarding, which is the right thing to do. Though I think no pray no pay is better on defense in this matchup to try to stop the doubloon stealing, and I think Blackbeard should have maneuvered instead. Yennefer maneuvers forward and attacks Blackbeard with an echoing blast into a parlay. Parlay does cancel echoing blast, but you can't cancel character abilities, and Yennefer boosts her attack with a quick and ready, dealing 2 damage and gaining a doubloon. In Blackbeard's case, it does end up being a 2-for-1, meaning he gets some breathing room. Also, the doubloons are out of frame here, so I chose not to keep track of them, since I might just end up guessing if Drew is cancelling effects or intentionally letting them Drew. Yennefer steps to a single maneuver range into Blackbeard's zone. Blackbeard maneuvers, then plays a plunder, stealing 1 doubloon from the treasury and placing themselves right next to the double zone Yennefer is threatening to enter in. Plunder is a pass, which Yennefer doesn't have any of. But between Echoing Blast and all her discard effects, she does pretty well in Fatigue by forcing opponents to maneuver non-stop. I like to call this phenomenon the maneuver death spiral, and it's usually how Yennefer snowballs and wins her games. You discard 1 card, then discard another, then discard 2, then suddenly you can't fight back while Yennefer keeps peppering you with hits. Blackbeard wins in a similar way, and you can see it happening in games where Blackbeard gets to activate all of his great effects. Speaking of, Blackbeard maneuver boosts with Light Diffuse. Afterwards, the Sea Dogs land an undefended Give No Quarter on Triss, immediately dealing 5 damage on her. They also gain an action which is pretty good, though they seemingly run out of fuel and maneuver away instead of attacking Triss again. Blackbeard doesn't block off the secret passage, and allows Yennefer to take a simple maneuver into his zone. She doesn't even end adjacent to him, meaning Intimidating Visage is a blank 4. Yennefer attacks with an echoing blast into a Queen Anne's Revenge. I believe Yennefer does pay a doubloon here to turn Queen Anne's Revenge into a 5, then boosts her own echoing blast with the magical barrier. She gets back the doubloon she spent, and importantly gets back the echoing blast which she wants to keep blasting with. There's not much pressure on Yennefer as well, so she doesn't feel too bad with boosting with magical barrier. Blackbeard maneuver boosts with a throw a leg towards the Tri-Zone. He thinks about what to throw at Triss to get rid of her finally. Blackbeard then attacks Triss with an undefended Avasti. Yennefer does cancel the random discard by paying a doubloon, though I don't think she cancels the 1 damage for the fighters in the zone. Triss disappearing does open up the space by the secret passage, which lets Yennefer just move in and attack. I don't think Yennefer even needs to think about what to do at this point. Yennefer maneuvers and attacks with an echoing blast into a fearsome and calculating. At this point, Blackbeard needs to remove an attack so he can get some breathing room. Sadly for Blackbeard, he can't even get rid of the echoing blast currently in play, so Yennefer will still have that again after she inevitably boosts. Blackbeard takes a look around Yennefer's hand and decides on discarding an Incinerate, which is pretty nice. Yennefer then boosts with a Lodge of Sorceresses, dealing 2 damage to Blackbeard. It's kind of ridiculous how good of a card Echoing Blast is. It's probably the most powerful card when playing Yennefer. It basically lets you convert any card into a minimum 4 value attack. As a recap, Blackbeard is at 6 HP but that's all Sea Dogs, while Yennefer is at full HP but with no Triss. Blackbeard shambles away, moving towards the light blue zone again. Yennefer follows. Yennefer attacks with a portal to anywhere into a parlay, which does get cancelled. It stops Yennefer from teleporting around and from attacking Blackbeard again, and is 1 less portal to anywhere to worry about. Blackbeard and a Sea Dog run towards the little corner of Baskerville, while the other Sea Dog steps forward and attacks Yennefer. The Sea Dog attacks with no pray no pay into a quick and ready. Blackbeard ends up not boosting, and the attack ends up benefiting Yennefer more since she can now reach Blackbeard easily. Yennefer maneuvers forward and attacks Blackbeard. She attacks with a portal to anywhere into an Intimidating Visage, which unfortunately for Blackbeard is just a blank 4. Blackbeard is sent away and Yennefer attacks again. This time it's an undefended Echoing Blast, which is boosted to deal 5 damage. Blackbeard's down to 1 HP, and against Yennefer that's pretty much it. Yennefer has hit a win condition, which is the opponent literally running out of defenses. For his first action, Blackbeard attacks with a brace of primed pistols into a telepathy. He ends up not discarding a card, so it just gets fainted. For the second action, Blackbeard plays Scourge of the Seven Seas. I believe Yennefer cancels the heal, then just leaves the summon and action gain alone. Both Sea Dogs are still alive anyway, so it doesn't really do anything. For the last and remaining action, the Sea Dog next to Yennefer attacks with a Give No Quarter into a Ball Lightning. Yennefer wins the combat, and Blackbeard alone discards a brace of primed pistols. With 1 HP to his name, the game ends when Yennefer attacks again with an Echoing Blast. Theoretically, Blackbeard could defend with a 7 here again and survive, but then Yennefer could just attack again with anything else and boost that too. If you'd like to support the channel, you can check out my Buy Me a Coffee or my Pixel by ePlayment pages down below. And if you like the content you just saw, make sure to check out the other videos on my channel. Like and subscribe, and see you next time.